Welcome, welcome, welcome to another show of RadiantsAF. Today, we have got Alejandro, who will be talking to us all things Superteam Ireland, Castle DAO, and everything that comes with being part of a DAO. As I'm sure a lot of people would know, it is an exclusive club for members only. Thank you so much for joining us, Alejandro. Thank you. And tell us a little bit about yourself. I think let's start there. How did you get into the space of Web3? And then also tell us a little bit about how you yourself have been able to become the lead of Superteam Ireland.
Yeah, Ms. Pope, thank you very much. Really happy to be here and excited. I haven't been in one of these live podcasts in a long time, so it's always fun. Superteam Ireland. So started officially in April last year. So we are at around 18 months now.
Oh.
And so I think a lot of people thinks that Superteam Ireland is was established way before it was. No, it's not. There has been a lot of hard work, but also a lot of eager in the ecosystem, right? There was people that really needed having some sort of form where they can just meet people thinking the same with the same needs as well, and with the same deeply enthusiasm into the Web3 space. So yeah, we're really happy about that. Look, regarding me, like I started in the space in around 8 years ago, more or less, and my previous background, because I'm old enough, so I had a dark side and a previous life. I used to be a consultant.
Were you a rebel?
I did a lot of consulting. I was a rebel, yeah. I just swapped from the institutional corporate side into the worlds of crypto.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So I was a consultant. I did a lot of consulting in supply chain management, supply chain finance. That's what I did for a long time. And at some point, I realized that blockchain technology could solve a lot of problems that supply chains will have. Especially everything has to do with visibility, traceability, provenance, and so on. So I kept just going further and further into the rabbit hole, and at some point it was just too deep that I never went out.
I think a lot of us have been caught in that rabbit hole, haven't we?
In 2019, I had a chance to give my first project.
Lovely. Tell us about your project.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Okay, great. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so in 2019, I co-founded my first financial services like trade finance, inventory finance, and confirming, etc. So like supply chain finance, using liquidity coming from the DeFi space.
Okay.
It was pretty crazy bet at that time, and we had the chance to just work with the likes of Centrify and just running that race of tokenization with them. Also, we had the first RWA vault in MakerDAO. That was MakerDAO at that time, and now Sky. So we were fairly early actually into that boom of the tokenization of real world assets. And it was a really beautiful experience because it allows firsthand to understand that there was a huge potential, right?
Yeah.
But realizing at the same time that technology was not ready and that there was a lot of work that needed to be done if we wanted to actually just bring all that institutional crowd that we always wanted and we thought that was interested in the technology. So we did around $85 million in transactions. We help a lot of SMEs around the world, which was pretty satisfying because a lot of people that started in this technology, they always thought that crypto and blockchain were going to just change the way financial services were going to be provided and who was going to benefit from it. So that was extremely gratifying. And seeing that big opportunity, decided to just co-found another company called DeFactor, and DeFactor was kind of trying to break that bridge between traditional finance and DeFi. We did a really successful token sale, and there was a lot of work to put on, including launching the first fully regulated, like institutional grade DeFi back fund in Luxembourg.
Yes.
And the plan was just to tokenize credit and tokenize supply chain finance. We were too early, way too early, unfortunately. But it was a fantastic experience as well. I think having the chance to be at the front foot and having the chance to just experiment as we did, it was amazing, and kind of define the fact that I wanted to just continue in the space, and I wanted to just continue helping the ecosystem and helping projects. So one of the things that I always did at the same time that I was with my projects was helping and building ecosystem here in Ireland.
Yes.
And it took years. It took a lot of years. I co-founded ETH Dublin. That was the first Web3 hackathon. We had a side conference as well, and it grew pretty quickly, and it was fantastic. We ran it for 3 years, and funny enough, ETH Dublin was the segue for me to come into the Solana ecosystem. Nobody would have thought that, but the guys from Superteam UK, Superteam UK actually came to attend ETH Dublin, and there was such a good chemistry there that at some point they came to me and said, Alejandro, why don't you try doing something with the Solana ecosystem in Ireland? I was like, okay, why not? We're starting just building what is today Superteam Ireland. So I think it's always funny how, those opportunities, like I've been at ETH Dublin and funding ETH Dublin, just gave us into now being full time into the Solana ecosystem. And last year was pretty surreal because we managed to have Vitalik here in Dublin.
Lovely.
So it was funny because I was already with Superteam, but at the same time, I had already the commitment of ETH Dublin, right? So just kind of that, like how to say, your heart is kind of split in a way. But it was really, really interesting opportunity and experience.
I didn't know that Vitalik actually came into Solana ecosystems. I thought he only stayed in the EVM world, but that's nice. Nice to have him at an activation.
No, he only stayed in the EVM side.
Yeah.
Like he came for ETH Dublin. He came for ETH Dublin.
Yes.
No, it was not. No, he came for ETH Dublin. It was interesting. Look, the Dublin ecosystem is not tribal at all. Like I think we are not big enough just to have like a dedicated. So I think there's a lot of people that have been in multiple ecosystems, and they actually have been going through different blockchains and depending on what the opportunities are, including myself. Like I have the chance to build in Algorand, in Polkadot. Like I think you have been in the space for long enough. probably you cross paths to different ecosystems
Yes.
at different
Yes.
stages.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like I believe the most important part is just that the ecosystem is having the chance to just have that first-hand contact to the technology, and that there is someone that is supporting, right, the ecosystem. And now is Solana, and I am really happy with that opportunity. And yeah, we're really grateful with the Solana Foundation for all the support that is bringing into the Irish ecosystem.
I fully agree with that. I think the biggest thing about being in this ecosystem is that if you've been here long enough, it's it's big enough for you to be chain agnostic, right? So going and finding out what different ecosystems offer, I think is something that a lot of people have done. And obviously, if you're new to the space, for anybody
Yeah.
that is watching, and you've only been in Solana, that's also great, right? That a lot of people have been onboarded within the Solana sphere, which is really what it's all about, right? Bringing new people in, having them really understand what crypto is all about, as well as blockchain. So, it's quite interesting that you mentioned that there's not much of a big following. Let's say, for instance, in Dublin, as you said, right, in Ireland. If you look at how your journey has been within Superteam, have you found that it's taken a lot of convincing for people to actually join Superteam and want to build within the Superteam ecosystem?
No, not at all. Fine off actually. Setting Solana as an ecosystem is quite easy, and I
Yeah,
think the good reputation that super teams are carrying with them and what super teams have done around the world is an easy sell for everybody, especially for projects
yeah,
that are looking for a house, or for projects that are looking for support, or even for talent that is looking to understand better the technology. So it's not, to be honest. I think the biggest issue, like if we go to Ireland, for us is just competing to other technologies. And when I'm talking about technologies, is AI, because now everybody's just obsessed with AI.
yes,
And also competing with the mammoths of the technology that are in here, like the Googles, like the Microsofts, like the Metas, because they suck a lot of talent. So you need to just use different strategies in order to just attract that people as well. Because at the end of the day, okay, if you ask me right now, I think Super Team Ireland has worked so well that probably 90% of the talent in Ireland that is in the Web3 space is probably associated to Super Team Ireland somehow, and they are building in Solana. But we cannot just stop in that bubble. We need to actually attract
yeah,
more people from the Web2 space, because there's so much talent in there, right? And having them
yeah,
will be fantastic for us and for the ecosystem. Also, students, we need to just compete with all the big mammoths for the students, because they want the
yes,
talent as well.
yeah,
So it is interesting. Like what I would say is Solana is doing things well. I think we're doing a lot of things well, and
yeah.
super teams are just completely excelling and getting talent in the Solana ecosystem.
What a time to be alive, right? Solana is really doing a lot in terms of being able to create ecosystems where people are able to build and have little mini communities such as super teams all over the world, right? Which are really expanding and also bringing in a lot of talent that otherwise would not be there, but simply because there is a community and people really care about it, they're bringing people in from the Web2 space, which I feel is phenomenal. When we talk about the AI angle, would you say that this is actually probably the best thing that could have happened in crypto, the AI narrative? Because a lot of people have now started building using agents, right? Have you found that a lot of the builders right now within Super Team Island are using a lot of AI in order to build?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, there's no doubt
Yeah.
about that. And I think AI is just becoming another stack, another part of the stack,
Yeah.
and it's changing dramatically how people are building. We are seeing in a kind of like the Coliseum here.
Yeah.
We're seeing it with Coliseum,
Yeah.
and the number of projects and submissions that are coming are increasing dramatically because building now is easier than ever. So now you can be a solo founder with a great idea and just create a proof of concept in 2 weeks time.
Yeah.
That before was not an option. That before was not there, was not possible, right?
Yeah.
So like definitely that is allowing us, one of the main constraints that we always had in the like in the Web3 space is that you always needed to have either a technical background or somebody that was with you that would allow you to actually and put it in a way that everybody was able to use it, right? But now you don't need that, because there are some ways that you can actually create these MVPs, create like preliminary projects that are going to allow you to sell your idea in a way better manner. So that definitely has helped dramatically. But the other thing that I've seen is the fact that a lot of people that are like related to AI and realizing quickly that blockchain is going to be part of the stack that they are building, which is great as well.
Yes.
And for example, things like agent orchestrations, or when we're talking about data provenance. So people are starting to realize like, okay, how I'm going to be able actually to provide provenance for all these different things that I'm building. And they're quickly
Yeah.
realizing that blockchain is actually the solution for it. So that people are starting coming, and they're starting actually getting more and more interested about what blockchain technology is bringing for their own solutions, for their own stacks. And I think that's important.
It is extremely important. And I think also the fact that the barrier to entry is sort of mitigated within AI, I think it's brought in a lot more interest for people who are curious about building, who've got the right ideas, but not necessarily, let's say, the cash flow to be getting a dev in order to build. So this actually gives them a little bit more of shall we say, leeway in order for them to build and have fun. And with that said, tell us a little bit more about Superteam Ireland. For those who don't know that have joined the stream, maybe you can explain what Superteam Ireland is all about.
Yeah, Super Team Ireland is a chapter of the Solana ecosystem here in Ireland. We officially are a non-for-profit accelerator that is helping talent projects in the Irish ecosystem. And at the same time, we provide education to institutions, to the government, to regulators, etc. So in that case, they have a better understanding of the technology, and they can come to a safe resource, or a safe venue where they know that there are people that are going to be qualified to just provide those some of those answers, right? Um, like super teams. So we have 28 super teams at the moment around the world, which is amazing because that gives you
Yeah.
not just the fact that we have the support here in Ireland, but at the same time you have a way that you know that you can count on for different instances, either as a person that is moving to a different place, or as a project that is looking for different markets, or is working in different markets and requires some assistance. So super teams actually bring a lot to the table. Here in Ireland, we have our anchor initiative that is called Talent Hub. Every single Friday from 9:30 to 6 p.m. we have a co-working space at Dogpatch Labs, that is the largest innovation hub in Ireland. So people come together, we work together, we learn from each other, and is a space that has been curated in a way that is extremely collaborative. but it's extremely inclusive for everybody. So you don't,
Yeah.
if you're a tech person or tech minded person, there is something for you. If you are more into the business, there is something for you. If you're a marketer, there's something for you. There's something for absolutely everybody. And that has helped us dramatically, right? To just increase the appetite for all like appetite in people to know more about the technology, to know more about Solana, and just be part of this
Yes.
community that is growing dramatically. At the moment, the community is around 1,300 people, and we have 72 super team members. We have helped more than 150 projects so far in
Yeah.
Ireland. That
That's
if you would
amazing.
have asked me, yes, amazing. Like if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, I would have said no, I don't think it's possible. But yeah, it's happening,
That
which is
is
great.
so amazing. Yeah. As you're talking about that, I recently had in the beginning of the month, I had Shaheen Moodley who had come onto the show, speaking to us about his project. And the one thing that I absolutely loved was the way he spoke about everything that obviously with him building, but at the same time speaking about Superteam Ireland, and that's obviously how I got to know of you, and wanted to get you on the show because he spoke so highly of you, and he was like, every you guys meet every Friday, right?
Yeah,
He
we do.
spoke about how it's so nice to be a part of a community where you meet every Friday. You guys speak about everything that you're doing, whatever you have done, and obviously mitigating certain things. And what's nice is that it's a community of, if one can say, yes, a community of builders, but people are there to help. People are there to push you forward, which I think is, a couple of years ago, I think there was only Super Team England, which had started, right? But it's so lovely to see all the different chapters that have now sprung up all over the world, and people are really enjoying. Obviously, having these initiatives, being able to speak to everybody else around the world who are also building and might have the same sort of problems building, but it's lovely. It really is. And to my next question, tell me about the builders that you have. What different types of projects have come about that are of notable interest that our viewers can hear about?
Well, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a bit of diversity, which is great to see. Like, because if you asked me 5, 6 years ago, like 90% of all the projects were DeFi related. So now seeing outside that is great. Well, we have Shivan that is a great project that is focusing more into the traditional side and bringing actually all the fund managers to understand better the technology and providing the services for them. So
Yeah.
that's one of those projects. We have the guys from Mention that they just won Coliseum. They were one of the winners of the previous Coliseum a month ago or
Yeah.
so. So they are
Lovely.
doing prediction markets, which is pretty interesting. The way that they are doing it is more actually with words, what he's saying actually on broadcast. So it's just a different angle. And I think they are really important for us as well because at some point last year we had a bet of going for our second hub in Ireland, and we actually went for Belfast because we take care of the whole
Nice.
island. So we were the
Yes.
Republic and the North, and we
Yes.
went for Belfast, and there was a lot of people like, why Belfast? Like, why not Cork? Why not Galway? That probably cities that are a bit bigger. And we said like, look, there is a lot of unexplored talent in Belfast and in the north. So having the guys winning Coliseum was fantastic for us. We said like, okay, like we took the right decision. And yeah, like we're doubling down definitely efforts in Northern Ireland. We
Yeah.
have Lufthansa, that is a fantastic project. They're doing payments, privacy payments for the content creators without the need actually use an account or anything, you can just do payments directly into Telegram using your X handle, for example, which
Nice.
is great. Yeah, so she's expanding at the moment. Lisa's expanding, like I'm doing a lot of stuff with Nigeria, for example, which is great to see. Um, yeah, we have Option Chain. We have so many good projects, and we have so many. There's so much talent in Ireland. That's one thing about this country, that even though we are a small country, it's just 7 million people only across the whole island.
Yeah.
The talent in this place is just outstanding, outstanding.
Yeah.
We're extremely lucky with that, and we're extremely lucky again in the Solana ecosystem to be able to just have or attract so much of that outstanding talent from the island. So yeah.
That is lovely. I mean, let's say when one thinks about wanting to join a super team anywhere in the world, what would you say is the one thing on how you are able to help founders find their feet within the space?
I think everybody's journey is a bit different, right? But one of the things that I always say to people that they want to be part of super team is to, well, first when you show up, you need to show up. You need to just
Yeah.
be part of it. You need to just be there and be proactive. I think there is one really cool thing about super teams is that every single lead is looking for people, for proactive people, for people that they want to do something, that they want to just
Yeah.
contribute to the ecosystem, right?
Yes.
And if that contribution is going to impact a lot of the members of that ecosystem, a lot of the members of super team, there's always going to be a path for you to be a member of super team. Like that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Now, if from the other side, from the super team side, how do we help people and how we actually bring them from that 0 to 1? Look, I think we have so much expertise now within the team, like from the tech, from the business, from the ecosystem, that quite quickly we can just set up a path for a project just to be ready for either launch to the market or to potentially do a fundraising exercise.
Yeah.
Whatever is a token or whatever is just doing a straight raise into equity. So we are going to be able to just to say, look, do a big analysis for them and say, look, this is what you need to work on, and just start creating all the different initiatives around them to just help them get at that level, right? There's something super teams have that is fantastic, is that we have the chance to just provide grants to outstanding contributions into the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Or outstanding teams. So we want to be the first backers of these guys. Like I think
Yeah.
there is something really powerful about being the first backer and being the first person that like, look, I think you deserve to have $5,000. Just go pursue these and let's make it happen.
Yeah. What would you say, in your experience being the lead of Super Team Ireland, what has been the biggest struggle that you have had and have overcome?
Biggest struggle that I had and that I had overcome. Okay, attracting students in the beginning was really hard.
Yeah.
For us was extremely difficult, and it was really painful because Ireland has so much potential from the student perspective. So we have one of the most so we have is the largest ratio of developers per capita in whole Europe.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's
so
amazing.
yeah, it is. Like Ireland has a lot of these stats that people are like, oh well, like the other one is like, we are the most educated town or like workforce in whole Europe as well.
Yeah.
which means that there is a lot of talent that can be taken actually from universities and for students. And in the beginning was so difficult actually to attract these guys.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Because everybody AI, 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 AI. So trying to divert to make them look into other places, it was hard in the beginning, but
Yeah.
actually we managed to just get a lot of like a pretty good quality students. So much that actually Coliseum has a track that is just for students, and one of our members won that.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's another fantastic project. IO Chain, amazing project. It's just AI inference and how you are actually just using the computing power that is idle. So yeah, finally we managed to just break through at the end of last year with the students, and now we have really good presence, really good relationships, and fairly soon we're expecting just to have um, our first student association in Queen's University, and it's going to be a Solana dedicated one, which is amazing. So
nice.
yeah, but it was tough. It was pretty difficult. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I think the culture is quite different, right? For anybody that is in varsity right now, they have a different culture, they have a different language. So being able to attract them, it's not like here's some candy, come to my truck type of thing. You really need to sell it to them, and they need to buy into it. Which yeah, I think it is probably every super team lead's nightmare at the moment, right? But moving over to that, how do you identify promising builders really early?
This is a really good question. There is something that like I think there are a few characteristics in an individual that gives you straight away like that gut feeling.
Yeah.
Had the chance to be a mentor in the Web3 tech stars for years, and what I was training, and actually after seeing so many projects, right, you can start in just kind of understanding what those characteristics are.
Yeah.
Like I think resilience is one of those ones, and like when you have founders that have come in and this is the third time that they are trying it, and they have not been successful before, but they are still on it, and they still have that. They're still eager for it. Like that's a great characteristic to have. Well, and just making sure that, of course, that they did not fail previously for nefarious reasons. But like
Yeah.
the being an entrepreneur and succeeding is extremely difficult task. Is just is easier to win the lotto sometimes, right? But
Yeah.
that's one. I think you need to have charisma, and you need to use sell and believe on what you are selling.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see that. Like you can clearly see when somebody is committed, dedicated, that they really have that belief, right? I think
Yeah.
that's so important. Yeah,
It is quite
that's
important.
well.
And
I think it's everything, because at the end of the day, the commitment that you require, right, to be entrepreneur, like I don't, well, probably your family, and sometimes people spend way more time committed to their projects and their startups than even family, right?
yeah,
So if you don't believe and you don't have that commitment, there's not even a point. Like why would you, right?
that is quite true. It is a long journey being a founder of a project, and especially I mean, I had this conversation about a month or two ago with Seb Moriarty, who's the COO of Raposa right now, and we're talking about how when you look at a project, being a founder, how do you know when enough is enough? How do you know when is the time to switch the lights off, and move on to the next thing? I think it's a very difficult thing because a lot of people spend a lot of time and passion and effort putting into the project that they're building. And sometimes especially when we look at timelines, maybe it's just taken too long to get to the point where you are. And then the next question is, when we move a little bit further, has the boat sort of like left the harbor? Are you in a place where it's not relevant anymore? Whatever you're building is not relevant to what the ecosystem wants or craves for, right? Because as we know, when we are in crypto as well as in the blockchain space, you really find that things go very quickly. And it really is a matter of, are you building something for the moment, or are you building something for the next year or the next 5 years, the next 10 years, that type of thing? So one can be extremely early to a certain thing, or they can really be in the moment now, but that it's a fleeting moment. And I suppose that is where your expertise would come in, right? Where you would be able to help the people that join Superteam in order to sort of like shift them away from not hanging on too much. Am I on the right track? Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's part of what we do, right? Like, look, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, timing is absolutely everything. Like, for startups, timing is probably the most important thing, if you ask me. After, like, well, not even tech, like, is product market fit and go to market strategy. And I personally believe that if you're in this industry and you don't have good tech, you're in the wrong industry. I think at this stage, everybody needs to have good technology and good foundations from it.
True.
But timing is absolutely everything. Timing is just, if you ask me, is that is that breaker? Like, you can have the best product, wrong timing, it's not going to work. And wrong timing is you are too early, or maybe you are a few months late and it's gone now. We have seen that,
Yeah.
so many examples that we have seen about it. But there is something that is important to remember as well, that there are cycles, and a lot of these narratives, they come back. Like, we saw, what was a good narrative? Actually, we were discussing this not that long ago.
Meme coins
coming back. Meme coins is that coming back? No, but like, look, one that is really interesting, right? And it was pretty close to what we were doing. It was everything has to do with trade finance. And at some point in 2019, 2020, a lot of people were thinking that trade finance was going to be the way how the technology was going to go to the masses, right? Because that's real economic value. You're talking here about working capital and be the foundational basis for a lot of companies around the world to actually operate. So, like, yeah, this makes perfect sense. And yeah, there were companies doing that, including ourselves, but then suddenly kind of stopped. And then now the narrative is back, and you're hearing more and more and more projects now that are doing that, right? So sometimes, let's say, even if you are too early, but you can hold until that narrative comes back, you still might have a chance.
Yes.
Right?
That
the
is
problem
true,
is actually is the length that you're going to be able to hold.
Yeah.
Which is pretty difficult.
That is true. Okay, so I mean, let's look at narratives, right? We had obviously coins. You had like the top 10 to like the top 20,000 coins, right? That are on the market right now. Could even be more. You had that. And then all of a sudden you started getting things like NFTs. And NFTs was a really great thing because it brought in a lot of retail markets that came in, right? And then after that, we had DeFi, one can actually say, was quite an interesting time, an interesting era. Then we had FTX, which really took Solana to the depths of the ocean, right? And then we came back up. What came after DeFi? I'm trying to think now.
Well, you have everything has to be RWAs. That was massive at
Yes,
some point.
that's right.
Uh,
RWAs, which I could actually say right now, maybe there's a little bit of maturity within the
yeah,
RWA space right now that we're seeing on Solana specifically, right? And
yeah,
then
correct.
you've got prediction
You
markets
have
right now.
prediction market is massive right now.
Yes.
Privacy is pretty big. A year ago, you
Yeah.
were payments was extremely big, especially with stable coins. Like when
Yes.
Stripe just came front and center, so everybody's starting just looking
Yeah.
at the payments. You have agentic payments as well, and everything has to be with AI
Yes.
embedded into payments. That is going to be extremely important. Um, well, gaming at some point was a big narrative, not so much anymore.
Yes, gaming came before NFTs, right? So, and that's where
Yep.
NFTs took a big run as well, because one needed to buy an NFT in order to play the game, and then it was like a big scam, some would say, actually, because where's Decentraland right now? Not to name or shame, but just to give you an idea, I mean, so many things happened, right? I mean, if you looked at Decentraland, everybody wanted to buy the house that was right next to Snoop Dogg's house, right? Because
Yeah.
then that meant your house had real market value. But it's
I
quite
still have
interesting.
a small plot of land next to the university.
Oh, nice. That's that's interesting. So it's amazing how narratives have just taken over, and to my point of what I was speaking about earlier, when do you know when you need to stop building that specific thing and then move on to the next thing? Would you say that that is the biggest barrier that a lot of developers have, or a lot of founders have?
Look, I think yeah, if you are, let's say, on that hype, it helps because you will have a lot of the investors that are looking, right, for those narratives, and they will be eyes open because it's the new thing. But personally, um, I believe that if you actually are solving real problems and you have a good market fit and you're going to just generate revenue, is irrelevant, to be honest. It's completely relevant because if you are serving a purpose, you have customers and you're making money out of it, even if you are not in any of these narratives or any of that hype, you're going to find people that are going to invest on you.
That's a good point.
So I think for me, right, like, and we love narratives, and we love it in our space, but that's one of the things that I always tell people that are building is like, look, you're going to just create something that is going to just solve a real problem.
Yes.
That's probably one of the best that's advice that came to me as well, and it's one of the things that I always pass to people. And it's like, you just solve a real problem. You're solving real problems. There is a big chance that you're going to have a product market fit. You have a product market fit, you're going to be able to sell these. You're going to have revenue. When you have revenue, all the problems disappear magically, right? And it just changes
They do.
completely the approach. So
Yes.
like now I believe that the technology is at stage, right, a certain stage, that there is a maturity that we can solve so many problems with this technology that they even don't need
Yes.
to be just related to DeFi, to finance, to anything like that.
So true. The next thing is I would suppose the bigger the problem that you solve, the more revenue you make, and then you become the next Elon Musk. There you go.
Yeah.
that's
uh,
that's where we are.
like that's yeah like look, that's now that's a great point, right? Because I remember having this chat with the students, and telling the students about like, but what are the opportunities, are the big opportunities? And I said, like, I remember telling everybody, like, look, AI as it is right now, there is a big domination from 3 or 4 players, right?
Yes.
They have a big chunk of that whole market just attached to them. Okay, if you look at from the infrastructure piece of, like from the infrastructure perspective, like from the hardware perspective, so you have Nvidia and is Nvidia, and they are the guys that are just like managing all that. Then the infrastructure part, same, there are 2 or 3 players, and then you have, well, everything that is running on the LLMs, models, etc. It's just a bunch of players around. You don't have anything like that whatsoever in the blockchain crypto space now.
That is true.
So there is so
That
much
is,
opportunity there still.
yes.
And one of the main reasons behind that is because when you're talking about AI, people tend to forget that this is a technology that has been in the build for the last 40 years.
You know, it's quite interesting that you say that because a lot of people don't actually realize that. I think a lot of people just think that this has been built like from the past 5 years. It's not
Yeah.
something that has spanned so many years, which is it's crazy to think of it now, right? I mean, if you actually saw the grandfather of AI, I mean, that guy's pretty old. I mean, he started this, what did you say, 40 some odd years ago?
Yes, 40
And
years ago when machine
yeah,
learning was starting, was like around 40 something years ago.
yeah.
And like I look the amount of time that it took for it to be where it's at, right? Like and reality is when you compare that to blockchain technology that is
Yeah,
13, 14 years old. So
quite scary.
yeah, we're early. We're still really early. So I think that's something that we need to just put in perspective as well. Yeah, I
We
love
are.
how, yeah, sorry, how we love to overestimate the short run on these technologies and underestimate what is going to happen in the next 20, 30 years.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
I,
is
I, yeah, I wouldn't think that if you would have asked early adopters of the internet how you were going to be able to just do so much now through a phone, computer, using internet. I wouldn't believe many people would have said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be able to do all this." No way.
crazy. And just to think, we have got more technology on our phone than there was in the technology of putting somebody on the moon, if that actually happened. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there, but anyway. Moving
That's
further
funny.
afield, I want to speak about Castle DAO. The
Yeah.
first thing is, please explain to everybody what is Castle DAO and why was Slane Castle the right place for it?
So Castle Now is a 2-week residency that we are hosting at Slane Castle. And this, I think, it's a need, or just came as a need for builders to be together in a place, being next to each other, learning from each other, and be surrounded with everything that they need to just maximize those 2 weeks and create the breakthroughs, the relationships, the partnerships that they could have never done in any other place. And that's more or less what we want to do. Also, we want to just put Ireland in the map as one of the hubs for like a Web3 talent in Europe, and I hope in the world soon enough. So what we're going to do is, yeah, we have built like a working stations in there. We are just transforming the castle into hyper productivity space.
Yeah.
And people are going to just stay in the grounds of the castle as well, which is pretty cool. And why is Lane Castle? Look, when we came actually with the idea, like the whole idea just came out of Mountain Down. That for the people that are not aware, Mountain Down is kind of a residency for that happens
Yeah.
in Utah. It's super cool, and it's like 5 weeks long. And everybody was like, "Oh, it's so cool! It's so cool!" So
Yeah.
what we said is like, okay, we probably should be doing something like that in Ireland with an Irish twist. And the Irish twist is a castle. And there are like more than 30,000 castles here in Ireland. and we say, well, I think our castle would be a pretty cool. We never thought a Slane Castle was going to be the
Yeah.
castle, because Slane Castle is a really iconic place in Ireland. I think if you ask for a castle, people will always say like, ah, Slane Castle, Slane Castle. So Slane Castle has been part of the Irish culture for probably 40, 50 years, like heavily,
Yes.
because a lot of the most renowned concerts that happen in Ireland have been hosted there.
Yes.
So every
It's
single big
absolutely
rock band,
beautiful.
yeah, it's, it's
Yeah.
a it's a beautiful building, and it's such an iconic building. Like the family
Yeah.
that still own it to these days. Yeah, there's so much history in that place, right? And
Yeah.
there's like so many stories that are around that area, and the landscape is just stunning. Like it's just a different level. So yeah, we were pretty lucky that we managed to just landed Slane, and yeah, we're super excited to just host builders from Ireland and around the world that are coming for that. Like so far, it has been outstanding. They're like how people are receiving it. More than we're checking today, 270 applications, if it's no more.
Wow.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's going
Th-
to be a lot of people that will not make it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
How many are you accepting?
so we are in total, because there's going to be 2 weeks. So there's going to be people coming in, coming out, etc. Would be around.
Okay.
We're expecting to have around 150 builders,
Oh,
more or less.
lovely. That's actually
Yeah,
quite big.
yeah. So that's the plan.
Okay.
And yeah, like we're trying to surround them with like there are going to be corporates that are going to be around, and there are going to be people looking for partnerships. So like one of our sponsors is the guys from the Fidelity Center of Applied Technology,
Oh, wow.
and they just want to understand what is happening, what projects are there. I guess so. It's going to be a really good dynamic between the builders, the the corporates that are going to be in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I hope there are going to be a lot of partnerships that are coming from Castle Lab, because I think that's going to be one of the big measures, or like things that will incentivize people to come back. We want to just be doing this every single year, so hoping that yeah, that's the way.
I love it. I mean, what kind of founder experience are you maybe trying to create? And also, is it going to be more of a deep focus type of community, let's say, activation, or are you looking for, let's say, long-term company formation from this?
And most of the people that are coming, they're already building. There are a few exceptions that people are not part of a team, or they are not building.
Yeah.
So what we want is for them to just maximize the output in those 2 weeks. And for that, like we have 24/7 operation. So people are going to be able to come and go as they want. We actually are doing some investment and bringing like a Starlink and proper internet to the castle, because as you can imagine, the internet in
Nice.
the castle is not the best.
Yeah.
So we're doing all these things for them to just be taken care of, and like a food, and we're going to just have really like a program perspective is going to be minimum. We're
Yes.
going to have some sessions, but that's not the focus. And then taking care of them from the health and well-being perspective. So just giving them the chance to just go outdoors, have those breaks that are always so needed, right? So that's more or less the experience that we want to have. This is not a this is not an event. It's kind of the antithesis of an event. This is just an
Yeah.
experience for builders. In that case, they can maximize. their output and create the connections or that boost that they need to just take them into the next level.
And what kind of founder are you looking, or what kind of founder should apply to come there?
I think people that already have a project, like that's important.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's key.
Do you have a stringent sort of threshold of how, let's say for instance, they've just freshly built their project and they're just getting it off the ground, or do you want somebody to have more of a proof of concept in terms of they need to be around for at least 12 months?
Yeah, so I think it depends. Like we're doing a lot of the assessment on every single case. Sorry. Like if they are like a really unique project or really unique product, like that we haven't seen before, and we believe that they can just get a lot from Castle DAO, like we will just accept them.
Okay.
There will be some other projects that they have been around for months, but there are another 6-7 projects like that already in the ecosystem that are already having revenue, etc., etc. So probably those guys will not make it. So
Right.
I think really depends of the project, the people that we're spending some time actually, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it is so important that the people that are going to be in the room are going to just bring something to the table and to the room, right?
Yeah.
So curating this, curating the attendees is probably, if you ask me, 60-70% of everything.
Right. Okay. That's phenomenal. And it feels very different from a conventional hackathon, if you will, right? Where
Yeah,
you go into this big arena and go and see what everybody's building, and then 1, 2, 3, you'll get the top 10 who have been chosen and they win a prize, right? It feels very different. It feels a little bit more personal, and I love the fact that it feels like there's a lot of flair with this because you're in an actual castle, right? You're in a place where greats have lived, let's say, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, do you feel like that would maybe make it a little bit more special in a way?
oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Like I said, like that place is iconic, is pretty unique, is beautiful. I don't know how many people had the chance to just do a residency inside a castle. I assume it's the first one in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't done the research, but maybe that's the one that I need to just check later. And there is the other thing that is important, right? Is because there are people asking like, why not something in Dublin? Why not something closer to a city? And it's like, well, because
Yeah.
I think that have been a little bit isolated will create focus on people. So they're going to be there, and the expectations that they're going to be just working. This is not for people to go on holidays. This is not for people to go
Yeah.
to party. That's not what we want in here whatsoever. We're people actually working. Like that's the
Yes.
reality. That's the expectation. That's what we're going to be expecting.
Yeah. Well, there you have it for anybody that is out there that is looking to at least apply to become one of the special people that will be invited to go to Castle DAO. Please don't hesitate, but to go to which handle, Alejandro? On X.
So they can go to our website that has all the information. That is castledao.ie. On X is, give me 1 second, is because it's not Castle DAO straight. I don't want to just mess up this. It is so it's CSTL DAO. So like castle,
Yeah.
CSTL DAO.
Dot
That's
IE.
that's our No, that's our X handle. That's our X handle.
Okay.
And our website is castledao.ie.
Fantastic. All right.
So all the information is on the website. And if there is any question, you can just contact us on they can contact us on X as well.
I think that is awesome. Castledao.ie. Go in there, get your form out, and hopefully you're one of the lucky people who get to go to Castle DAO. I think that'll be phenomenal. I think also looking at it from the bigger perspective, right? You being the lead of Superteam Ireland, what would you say is the long-term vision for you, Solana, in Ireland?
So well, we want to keep attracting a lot of Web2 talent. We want to just get more and more of that talent to understand the technology better, implementing that technology into some either the projects that they are working on, or into the companies that are working on. We want to expand, and we want to use put Solana at the front of tokenization, especially in the funds industry. That is a really relevant industry here in Ireland. Like a funds industry in Ireland is one of the largest ones in the world. So we want to just put Solana there. So that we're working hard on that. And the other one is the payments industry. So we're working really hard to get that, because as soon as you start penetrating some of those technologies, one, you will start getting more talent as well.
Yeah.
But also there is a big chance that people that are part of those industries are going to start creating their own startups using the technology. So you see, it's this virtuous cycle, right?
It is.
Penetrate the industry. Flywheel. People are coming out of it. It's that flywheel, right, that keeps going. So that's something that we have as an objective, and again, like just trying to put Ireland as one of those hubs around the world that people are associated first with the technology and then with Solana.
So looking at you being a super team lead, for anybody that is watching and would maybe like to know what they should do as a founder, maybe the best advice that you would give for a founder that is building on Solana right now, what would you say to them?
Oh, join a super team. it's the
as simple as that.
Simple as that. Join a super team. Go to the talent hubs or whatever they call it. In different super teams have different names, but go to the co-working spaces. Go to the events that super teams are, because either you are going to be just getting in touch with like the lead or the core team of super team, and more importantly, you're going to just be able to just meet the community and meet some other people that are part of that ecosystem that are going to be equally as relevant and as important for that journey, right? Because like the leads and the core team are important, but if there is not a good ecosystem and there is no good people around, it's irrelevant. So you need to just have that. So look, if you are in the Solana ecosystem, just join super team. Like it really, as we say, is a cheat code. But it's just it is really like the amount of benefits that super team brings to the Solana ecosystem, to builders, right, to talent, just outstanding.
Yeah, that is actually quite true. And with that, for anybody who is maybe, let's say, in Ireland and you would like to join super team, it is at Superteam IE, right? There's no underscore in between them, right? Superteam IE.
There's no underscore. That is Superteam on X.
That is Superteam Ireland on X. You know what? I would like to also just ask you right now, looking at the landscape, and obviously because you deal with a lot of builders right now and you see what people are building, not to sort of ask you about, the different builds that are happening, but for anybody watching that would like to know what would be the next thing for them to build and in what sector, what would you say would be possibly the best right now?
Well, okay, so sector. Well, I'm pretty biased on this because I love trade finance. So I think trade finance still has such a good opportunity. It's a market
Yeah.
that is completely underserviced and people are still needing it so much. So I'm fairly biased. And I believe working capital again is probably like associated to blockchain and crypto. I still believe like working capital is going to be one of the different industries that will give real exposure and economic value to the crypto space. So yeah, that's my take. Probably a lot of people will
Fantastic.
disagree with me, but that's fine.
No, it's a good take, and I think when we look at how far I think trad finance is from actually implementing and really, getting in there and bringing it to clients, I think it's quite far. So I think there is a
It is
lot of
extremely
room to
far.
grow. It is,
Yeah.
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 And you know what? With that on the show, we always like to ask our guests to please, first of all, thank you for joining the show. Absolutely loved our conversation. We like to always pay it forward and ask you to recommend somebody who you would love to see on the show. Who would you like for our next guest to be?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. As I said, I haven't done one of these live ones in a long time, so it's always fun to be back on the rodeo.
It is.
Who would be? It would be a good conversation. Like I would probably say, just talk to the guys from Mention. They're the Coliseum winners because they have a cool story.
Okay.
And it will be also interesting to hear from them how they ended up in the Solana ecosystem because Taylor especially was a hardcore ETH fan that
Ah,
now is deeply building in Solana. So I think
he was
all that
converted.
story it was converted exactly like it happened to me, was
Yeah.
converted. So yeah, probably that will be a good one. The mention guys will be probably good for you to have.
Fantastic. Well, for the mention guys, you're definitely coming onto the show, whether you like it or not, because the big man Alejandro said so. No, I would just love to say thank you so much. Thank you for coming onto the show, explaining what Super Team is all about. And I think it's always good for people within the space to learn about Super Team, learn about what is happening in the Solana ecosystem, and how important it is for us to be able to have hackathons and things like Castle DAO. A lot of people maybe didn't know about it. So now that they do, I think it really is tremendous for them to be able to put in through the form and see if they get the opportunity to come to Castle DAO. I think that'll be phenomenal, and hopefully we get to hear of somebody on the timeline who didn't know about it and then all of a sudden got onto the show, heard about it, got in, and were actually accepted. I think that'll be a really great story. But
Fingers
from
crossed.
myself, yes, 100%. From myself, Ms. Pope, I'd just like to say thank you so much, Alejandro, for coming on. Absolutely loved having you on. And for anybody that hasn't got on to go and follow them, Superteam IE is the handle on X, and castledao.ie, the website for them to obviously get into the form to be going to Castle DAO. I think that'll be phenomenal. Well, thank you so much. I've been rambling on.
Thanks to you.
This is RadiantsAF. Join us next time when we are going to be seeing a lot more other people within the Solana space, maybe even further afield, because we are chain agnostic. Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you soon, and ciao for now.
Bye bye.
Bye.